All right, so I'm gonna do my introduction, and then yeah.
Go for it.
All right.
Oh God.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Lord Pog, and welcome to Lord Pog Gaming. I'm once again joined by Android
Hello.
and Dragons.
What's up?
We're doing our review, our 5 episode review so far of what's his name? Major Link. Major Link's
What a penis.
Major Link's Ode to the Ocarina of Time, A Hero's Purpose, or Legend of Zelda. If you want to be that way about it. So, you boys ready? You guys, you guys,
Yay!
Yep.
all right.
Affirmative.
Okay, let's get it. So, we're starting off. Here we are. Major Link. So this is picking up directly from where the last one left off with Link standing at the drawbridge.
Right. As I recall, they were getting ready to drop the bridge or something, and the archers came over the side of the wall.
Yeah, freaked him out real good. Yeah.
I did like how he looked like it was my handwriting that did his opening. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got that, wow. Hold on. I'm gonna
Why
have
do the
to...
guards look like
A
such
little loud
fools?
for you.
Oh, I gotta turn... Yeah, I just gotta turn down the volume a little bit, because I can't even hear myself think. Why do the guards look like what?
Such tools.
Well, I mean...
Because they're like the Star Wars clones.
Yeah.
That's...
Hyrule mass produces them.
Yeah. Well, it's just also they're the way they're positioned and they're posing. It almost looked like
What cracks me up is that they all wear the same armor, even the magic users do. Like
Right.
I don't believe they've been cross-classed.
th-
That's a negative on their casting.
these guys are it's because they're spell swords. That's why. They're the spell
I call
swords.
Is that right? War Mage.
Yeah,
They,
Yeah.
they put levels into War Mage.
yeah, there you go. War mage, that works.
I bet they can't combat cast when I punch them in the face.
Okay, so I'm gonna
I
pause
mean,
this.
Mage Slayer, motherfucker.
Yes.
I'm gonna pause that real fast just because, like, to get to the actual story of what's happening here, of Link actually returning to Hyrule to return the Ocarina of Time, and they're asking him questions, and then they let him in. I did notice that in regards to what you were saying last episode, Android, the whole like decision making that Link does in his head with the multiple decision voice, dialogue.
Yeah, and much to his credence, he's working with what he can, as far as dialogue options go, to at least try and make it a little more interesting if you're not familiar with it, add some complexity to it that you don't really get near as much in the actual games, you know.
Well, I do like the fact that at times it seems like Link could say one thing, but the other thing, like, why they asked
He's
him what,
compelled.
yeah, what are you doing here in this town? And he, yeah, if I may, why do you have the Ocarina of Time? And uh, are you gonna play or are you gonna stay paused? You gonna do this? What are we doing? Yeah, why do you have the Ocarina of Time? And he says Zelda entrusted it to me, or the other option that he
I'd
gives.
rather not say.
Yeah, like he's basically like, I could be a jerk about this and be all dark and mysterious, but or Princess Zelda entrusted it to me. And then this dude just straight up,
He's gonna be a tool regardless.
yeah, like,
And that kind of that right there kind of plays to the aspect of the game too, where that's probably what he would have said regardless.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but you do get some complexity, some like, I don't know, some insight into Link's mind more with it, you know.
Than anything else, yes. Yes. And that, I'm sure he's going to build upon that in further episodes, but
He does, and I just don't want to say too much about it, you know.
and then what's the deal with Malin here? Like,
Oh, there's like a fan theory that when Link returned to Hyrule, he settled down with Malin and joined the Knights, which is half supported by Twilight Princess. At least the portion of him joining the Knights of Hyrule is fully supported by Twilight Princess, but you get whatever, you know. It's just kind of like headcanon in that regard. They're kind of building towards a potential romance there.
okay, because
Clap them cheeks.
What did you say?
He said clapping cheeks.
Oh.
Well, see, because I was interested in that because I
He
noticed
used his master sword.
Nice.
Well, she knocks over a crate and then everybody jumps to help her. I'm like, dang.
I would say, well, that's the thing. It's like it looked like they were like, "Oh no, a boogeyman's jumping out of the box." It's like the bitch just knocked over some boxes, man. Stop being paranoid.
You're right.
See, now, if Link became a knight, right? Is that knight a woman or a man? Because it looks... I don't want to spoil what's
That one
coming.
right there
Yeah,
that we're watching,
yeah.
I thought it was a man, but I'm
Well, I mean,
not certain.
I
I
guess-
don't remember.
I guess even Link, when he's like wearing a helmet, looks kind of like effeminate, right?
Effeminate, yeah.
Androgynous or whatever. Everybody's kind of androgynous looking, anyways. You know.
I think just like in terms of lore, it would be uncommon for a woman to be in the Knights of Hyrule. Not that they couldn't, just, you know.
Oh, right. Right. Oh, okay. Well, see, because I was under the impression that all the knights were women and all the guards were men.
Oh, well, it
That's-
could be that way. I don't know, but
Well, I don't know. See, I don't know the lore. I'm not going by the lore. I'm just going by what I could see here, you know?
yeah. I know at least one of these knights is a man just based off of these episodes, but I won't get into that just because you don't, or just because you see him with his helmet off, so, you know.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, then that works. And then we hit that jam, that Legend of Zelda jam. Dun dun da 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 da. And I mentioned Sheik last episode, but for those of you who are listening or watching, that is Sheik. That's the person I was talking about last episode. That I didn't want to go too deeply into their backstory, just because if you play the game,
Yeah, if you haven't played the game, yeah,
it'll ruin it.
it'll ruin it, yeah.
Which this episode kind of dangerously comes close to doing it.
Right.
Anyways, but there you have it. There you have it.
You know.
Now, are all the Sheikah women?
No, not necessarily. Just Impa's a woman and Sheik is a dude, you know.
Right, right. Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? Because Sheik's a dude, yeah. So, that makes plenty of sense. See, and
Him and Impa are the last two Sheikah. It's just that Impa's Sheikah tribe has been wiped out at this point. She's like the last, because they're like the shadow guardians of the Hyrulean family, or royal family, or whatever.
right. Now, this actually, I had a question written down when I saw this, you know? And my question was, does Link even remember, like, everything he went through with the Master Sword traveling forward into time and defeating Ganondorf. And this really answers it, though. You know,
Yeah,
'cause
it's assumed so. Yeah, it's assumed that yes, he does remember.
so my real question is, do they remember Sheik and Impa? See, he's got that flashback, right? He knows all of Sheik's moves now because he's already been. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a fool me once type of thing. So now
Well,
he's.
they don't remember the future timeline events, but they remember Link as a child and what he did for Hyrule as a child when he went in to claim the Master Sword, and what he did when he returned and informed them of Ganondorf's plot to get into the Sacred Realm.
So it's yeah. So I
When
would
he
say.
disappeared into the Lost Woods and had the whole Majora's Mask experience, and they haven't seen him since.
So I think it stems to reason that your theory about the fact that he's fixing the timeline, almost
Right.
like what happened in Ocarina of Time doesn't happen now.
Well, the official Zelda timeline kind of suggests so. At least that's my interpretation of what it's getting at. Um, but, you know, I guess anybody's theories could be, the case.
Well, my thinking is that if that had happened, and this is actually taking place after he came and left. Wow, that's a hallway sentence. But after he did all that, right? That technically Sheik and Impa would remember him. You know what I'm saying? At least remember something.
Yeah.
But the fact that they don't. And technically Link is he's playing a little subterfuge right now with Sheik anyways, right? But
Yeah, he is.
but it doesn't seem like they actually remember that stuff anyways.
No, they don't. They wouldn't remember Ganondorf invading the Sacred Realm and invading Hyrule and stuff because he was sent back to the past. At least that's the mode of thinking that I assume that they're going off of in the hero's purpose. You know, because what's going on here is that since Link foiled his plot to get into the Sacred Realm in the first place, he has to retreat and build up enough force to overthrow Hyrule, rather than just gaining it all at once from the Triforce of Power.
Right. Right. Okay. That's why watching this I was like, well, yeah, I think that theory is probably astute. He basically he made sure that the events of Ocarina of Time don't have to happen now. He doesn't have to like blip into the future, defeat a Hyrule run by Ganondorf, and then come back.
Yeah, he's uh that was the purpose of sending him back in time, was to quote fix the timeline. At least that's my interpretation.
Yeah, let them know what Ganondorf was going to do. So when he tried to do it, they were prepared for it. And
Right.
in the previous episode, Ganondorf does see Link blip and then blip back, and he realizes, well, if he's come back,
Yeah, he's like, oh shit.
yeah, that means
He just watched himself lose.
yeah, that
like
must
we said
mean
last time, he watched himself lose.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I must have lost because I mean, shoot. Well, crap then, you know. I guess I better skedaddle. I'm gonna go then. Here's Impa talking trash. For the sake of talking trash. Link's like, it's me, mother.
The Big Daddy OG.
Yeah. See, that right there too, right? Like,
His internal voice telling him to be kind.
like he could have done something really shady just now. That have
Yeah,
we met before, that would have been really shady because like
yeah, he
that's
knows Sheik from his previous adventure.
yeah, that's Link letting Sheik know that like I know Sheik, like I know you, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he doesn't. But he's not doing that. He's letting Sheik be Sheik, I guess.
right.
Because I mean, well, also he,
Well, because everybody else knows Sheik as Sheik.
yeah, and he's got all like the Hyrulean guard and knights all around him as well. So like he could
Right.
he could have really like
Yeah, like ruined their credibility
yeah
as a fighter and stuff
yeah
just because he's the hero of Hyrule.
yeah, and he
But
didn't.
instead, he still chose to uplift him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the making of a king.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's not gonna be king.
You shut up.
He's he's gonna marry Malin. We already know. You said it. The Twilight Princess confirms it.
No, I said Twilight Princess suggests it.
No, no, no.
It's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. TM.
TM. I'm glad you put that TM at the end there. I don't want to get freaking flagged.
I don't know that phrase is trademarked. I was just being fucking dumb.
Yeah. Well, they do reference now. Here they are referencing what happened, at least in the first half of the Ocarina of Time, talking about Zelda running away and Sheik running away and Impa running away. Like everybody happening to flee. Like the fact that nobody wants to retreat this time. So part of that timeline still had to have happened, right? Not necessarily when Link blips forward, but at least the part where they had to flee for a minute.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason why I say this is because, and maybe and it's coming up here. Right now they're like laying down the groundwork for what Ganondorf has been doing, what they've all been doing, But, well, I don't want to crap the bed, but it's this right here, right? They each possess a piece of the Triforce, right?
Right.
And something else too I want to mention. Like Ganondorf is a cool mofo.
Oh yeah.
Like
Ganondorf is a gangster.
Like you watch the whole first episode like expecting to see something about him, and you do see him, right? But like this episode
In
is
memory, and right here also kinda.
yeah, but this right here is what does him justice, right? That first episode, you're just kind of seeing Ganondorf look like a confused, snidely
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, like a snidely whiplash kind of, I'm gonna tie her to the tracks.
Weaselly.
Yeah, little villain. This right here really shows you that, like, yeah, he's actually a dangerous force. I mean, he possesses one of the pieces of the Triforce, and
he's the prince of the Gerudo.
yeah, which, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it that the Gerudo can't have men, and so that makes him special to begin with? Like they're all
they only produce one man every so many generations or something, and he is destined to be their king or something.
Yeah.
All I gotta say on that is the Gerudo Valley chopped and screwed thing I have is pretty fire on Spotify.
Oh man, the Gerudo Valley theme is so good.
It's a banger. I have a dubstep chopped one that's just even more fire.
Nice.
I'm going to get up to hear it right now because you said it and it triggered me and I have to hear it.
Yeah, you have to hear it now. You know what? You know, is there a way that you can play that so I can actually sample that? So during this, we can do like a little splicey and let the folks at home
You could
give it
send him a
hear.
video of it, and then you can.
Yeah, I'd have to. I would
yeah.
have to send you the link to. Let me see if I can
Sounds-
find it here.
Sounds
And then
good.
you can buy it off of his Bandcamp. Wink.
Yeah,
And splice it in.
yeah. You just, I might splice in this one time at band camp too, just because. We're giving-
And one time at band camp, we weren't supposed to have pillow fights, but we had a pillow fight, and it was so much fun. And this one time, we all lost our music, and we were supposed to play this song, but we didn't know it. So we just made it up, and we kept playing and playing, and the conductor didn't know what we were doing, and it was so funny. So you're pissed about something, huh? You know what I do when I'm angry? I just play some Bach on my flute. It's so relaxing.
But a little spicy.
And just for you to understand, like the actual gravity of how much some of us are nerds, I have a full Legend of Zelda fucking playlist on my Spotify. Suck a dick if you don't have one.
Yeah.
Or don't. I mean, you know, teach their own. I guess,
No.
but-
Choke on one. If you don't, every once in a while, just have like the goddamn fairy fountain thing just kick off in your shit. You're just
Yeah.
You're not worth my time. We are different people. Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong. How did Ganondorf get a hold of the what is he? He's got the Triforce of what? Strength?
Power.
He's got the Triforce of power.
Yeah, I can hear your Alexa.
My echo is going
Yeah.
on. Hold on a second. Echo.
It just decided to chime in. You're like, hey, buddy.
Hey, let
Yeah.
me tell you. You got
Yeah,
the
let me
answer.
let me holler at you.
Yeah, she's like, let me break down how Ganondorf got the Triforce of power.
Hey, it's your
I'm like, whoa. Whoa.
Wait a minute. Don't ruin everything for us now.
Yeah, sorry, folks.
Yeah.
Folks at home, this show is really impromptu. We are not production geniuses, so like every once in a while, you're gonna get that craziness up in here.
Oh, like my dogs last time.
Yeah. Oh man.
Just like, oh, my dogs. Never mind.
Last night on D&D, we're just talking. Hold on a second.
Oh man.
My cat just pissed on me.
That was the funniest
Yeah,
shit,
dude.
So not to go off on a tangent here, folks, but I think before
Anyway,
we continue with this, before we continue with Ganondorf, we have to tell you this story. We were playing D&D
man.
last night, and I'm the DM. I'm the dungeon master for those of you who aren't aficionados in Dungeons and Dragons.
Another time you can joke on one.
Yeah, Android was asking me a question, and I was answering it, and before I even had a chance to finish, he just interrupts me. He's real hype. He's like talking about something real quick, and then he just stops and just sounds utterly disappointed. He's like, da 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 da. Hold on a minute. My cat just pissed on me. I'll be right back.
He was like
That-
coming up into our window, and he likes to sit in the window and look outside. You know, he like parts the blinds and sits up there. And I didn't think anything of it. And then I was like, "Oh fuck, there's something going on with my leg." But I thought it was just like my nerves because, you know, I got shitty blood
Ankles.
pressure. Shitty blood pressure and shitty ankles and a shitty nervous system. So I didn't think anything of it at first until I like saw him kicking his little leg out of the corner of my eye. And I was like, hold on a second. And I looked down and sure enough, this motherfucker's like spraying piss onto my leg. And I was like, are you fucking shitting me?
But he didn't.
Fucking priceless.
He didn't say it's with such gravitas. He's just like he had the gravitas during the gameplay, and then out of nowhere he just stops and sounds utterly dismayed. Like he sounded like a disappointed father who like tries to walk into your room and talk to you, like relate to you somehow, but he sees your death metal posters, and so he's just like,
Oh, it was kind of like that because it's like, you're really going to bring this out of me right now, dude, at this time of night? It's 1 o'clock in the morning and you're going to bring the demon out of me?
so there's a fun little cat piss story for you cat lovers out there.
And
So-
he's fixed and everything, so it's not like he was like spraying me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just he was like, I can't spray you, so I'm going to piss on you
He's
instead.
like, I love you so much that I'm gonna piss on your leg. You know.
Get the R. Kelly treatment out of the way.
Yeah. Little bit of poo poo,
Mhm.
little bit of pee pee.
Exactly.
So, okay, let's get back to it. So, Ganondorf, how did he get the Triforce of Power?
Okay, so it is to my understanding that the 3 chosen people are born with the Triforce, and or at least an aspect of it. They're avatars of the Triforce, right? And the true Triforce is in the Sacred Realm. But that is just my understanding.
Okay, that explains it. Because a long time ago, Philos told me, because I actually asked him, I said, how is it that these games keep continuing if it's technically a different Link every time, or a technically different
Yeah,
Zelda, and then there's Ganondorf, and then you have Ganon, and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, it's because they're technically reincarnated by the power of the Triforce. Like, every time the
Yeah.
ultimate evil shows up, the ultimate hero shows up to protect the ultimate good, which is Zelda, right?
Right.
Link is Ganon or Ganondorf is the ultimate evil, while like Link is the ultimate hero, while Zelda is like the ultimate good. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty well what's going on. And the game that is recognized as the first in the chronology, Skyward Sword, gives you insight into the beginnings of all of that, right? So, and this is something that they'll touch upon, kind of, you know, the reincarnation aspect. But in Skyward Sword, it's Link and Zelda fighting a great evil. He's like almost like a demon or a devil, right? And his name is Demise. And he basically puts a curse on them saying, I'll always return. And they're pretty much like, well, okay, we'll always be there to stop you,
right.
you know?
I see.
So
I see.
it's kind of, yeah, it's their reincarnations.
Now-
That's a good way of looking at it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, the Skyward Sword wasn't a very popular game, was it?
No, it was not very well received. No, it wasn't. And that's mostly because of complaints about dungeon layouts and like quote lack of creativity. There's a lot there in Skyward Sword that's good, right? Like I like Skyward Sword, but I like it for the what it does for the narrative, not so much for the game itself.
I think that's the genuine
know?
consensus.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much
The
the
gameplay sucked, and like, but it helped,
yeah.
the story helped explain things that hadn't been technically explained yet.
Right.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay. Okay. Well, see,
I'd heard about it based. Long story short, X's daughter was a huge fan of it, so like I started looking into stuff, and like when you don't play them avidly, you don't know what game comes out when and why it's what and this, that, and a whatnot.
mm-hmm.
So I was looking into it. I'm like, well, what was the last game? And I think it was Skyward Sword had come out, and she was like, I remember her saying something like she didn't want it or whatever, blah blah. I'm like, why not? It's like the deuce, whatever, blah blah. So I looked into it, and that was like the big thing on it was evidently the core gameplay was not good.
Like the mechanics.
Yeah, mechanics and like how.
It leaves a lot to be desired, right? There are some things that they kind of start in Skyward Sword that they polish in Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? Like the stamina bar, for one.
Okay.
The stamina bar, sprinting and climbing, weapon durability, and even in Breath of the Wild, weapon durability is the number one complained about thing because there's no way to repair your weapons. So, it kind of you break a weapon and it's gone.
And Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild was the first ah, fully
Mhm.
voice acted Legend of Zelda, wasn't it?
It's not fully voice acted. It is fully voice acted in cutscenes.
Okay.
There are specific cutscenes that you get where it's fully voice acted, but other than that, it's the traditional text box setup.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because up until Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, we never really truly knew what like Link or Zelda should sound like, I guess.
Right. There's no voice acting in the games up until Breath of the Wild, which is the first to do it and only in specific cutscenes.
Well, I guess unless you count like the Legend of Zelda cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon back from like the 80s or the 90s or something.
Or even the ones on the CDI,
Yeah.
but nobody does. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, nobody. Well, excuse me, princess. But
yeah, your
yeah.
excuse.
Yeah. Like
What he said.
I was I personally I think that as serious of a tone as this show is trying to take, it still would have been funny if like at one point in time Link just up and said in one of these episodes, "Well, excuse me, princess." I would be like, "Yes, that's the Easter egg right there."
That's the
They
one.
did it.
That's the one.
They did the thing.
They did the thing with the thing.
So Ganondorf is definitely like a bad mofo, and Legend of Zelda, it has a lot of rich lore and history to it, and we could sit here and talk about that all day, but then we'd be on pause for like I don't know how long. So
Yeah.
Which we're good at anyways.
Each game they reinvent Hyrule and it's got its own lore to explore.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and before we go, too, something I want to point out is when they were showing all three of them holding their hands up with the Triforce on there, just look at the way Ganondorf drops his hand more than anybody else. Like, more than any of the others. Ganondorf, for sure.
With like strength and
like
ferocity.
He's got the bad boy attitude, like, you know what I mean? But he's not like an edgelord about it. He just is what he is. Like, they're like,
Two
okay.
fists.
And he's just like, ugh. Like, yeah, he is definitely like the possessor of the Triforce of Power. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Well, his whole thing is that he wants to claim power over Hyrule.
yeah. Yeah, it fits.
So, I mean,
he's definitely the one, right? Like, I had that written down, like, it makes sense that Ganondorf is the possessor of the Triforce of Power because he's the perfect avatar for it. It's all he craves.
Right.
He big hungry.
He big hungry.
It's about to get funky.
Son of a...
Now, this is taking place after, right? Right?
Do what?
This is
Oh yeah.
this is like after the Ocarina of Time. This is just
Yeah,
before.
she's giving him this equipment to send with him onto the Majora's Mask adventure, which this is just a little tidbit to add context to that, because when you start the game in Majora's Mask, you have a different sword and shield other than the Kokiri sword and the Hylian shield. So what this is doing is taking liberties with that and telling you that Impa gave it to him before he left, when he was saying goodbye.
Filling in the blanks, right?
Right, giving him a sword and shield that's right and proper for his size.
Right, and then you got Zelda, who's giving him the Ocarina of Time here. Like, oops, spoiler. Giving him the Ocarina of Time. Because in Majora's Mask, you have... Yes, I'm still calling it Majora.
You call it what you want.
I'm Mexican. A J is an H. But...
I can't deal with you.
But no, like...
Get out of my face.
Giving him the Ocarina of Time because you have the Ocarina of Time in Majora's Mask. And
You do.
that wouldn't make any sense either, really, unless you
Right.
kind of had this right here, like Zelda basically telling him, I want you to keep this because it's
Protect
safe.
it.
Yeah, it's safer with you than anybody else. I mean, you're like, what, 8 years old and you've already saved.
You've already punked out Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Now,
he's
what scene is that? When he's...
That's the one at the end of Ocarina of Time where she's sending him back in time.
Okay. I couldn't
After you've
remember
defeated
that.
Ganondorf.
I couldn't remember. I could not remember. I'm like, what? Is he giving a prelude to something here? Or... You know what I mean?
Right, no. He's just remembering.
Okay. I kind of remember it now that you're pointing it out. I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Because in the original timeline, when you pull the Master Sword, the reason why Ganondorf has the time to get in there is because you've been locked in the Sacred Realm for 7 years asleep, while your body grew enough to defeat Ganondorf. Right?
All right.
So Ganondorf has had ample time to destroy Hyrule.
Hold on a second. I had written down here. Okay? I want to point this out. And what you're saying, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt your lore. But this
you're
is
good.
kind of like... This right here, I wrote something down because I didn't realize I was going to have to write anything down. And this still, like, this... like, I'm like, oh, yeah, he's going off. This right here... I mean, like, just this whole scene, right? There's Link riding away on Little Epona. There's Zelda. And then this right here. I wrote,
Yeah.
you are a grown man. Don't you dare. You are
Nice.
a grown man, and don't you dare. And if you know...
I say go for it.
If you know, you know. You
Go
know what
all
I mean?
the way.
Like, I was just like, oh... Like,
Round third, big homie. Round third, big homie.
no,
I think you're talking about two different.
yeah,
Oh, we are.
we are.
It's the same thing.
It's like that is like that's pretty good though. Like what he
Yeah,
did,
it was good.
what MajorLink did here was pretty freaking impactful. Like you feel the extent of that emotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because part of the reason why he put in that scene where he's remembering is because he didn't want to be sent back. He wanted to stay there with Zelda. You know, or at least that's what he's implying with that. And to see her again as she was is like a happy thing for him.
And I also wrote down when she was hugging him all hard like that, and he hugged her back, and you're watching Impa watch them. You know what I mean? I also wrote down, I bet he stinks, man. I bet he smells like sweat and like
Booty juice. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Onions.
Forgotten Forest or whatever
Yeah.
that forest is called.
Lost Woods.
The Lost Woods. I'm like the Forgotten Forest. Why not? We'll put our own names on these things.
Synonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah, like man, though. Like, I was like, I felt it like lump up in my throat and everything, and I was just like, don't you dare.
That's what she said.
Oh, now here's Zelda laying down the groundwork for what's going to be important here. Talking about the 3 spiritual stones and the Ocarina of Time and her plans on how to keep them away from Ganondorf since Link effed up all of Ganondorf's plans.
He's essentially back to square one.
Yeah, he went into hiding, and now they're guarding the stones to make sure Ganondorf can't get a hold of them. And her whole plan was to hide them basically where they should be, except for the Ocarina of Time, right? Which she gave to Link. And here, last episode, we learned about the young Deku Sprout, the little fat butterball piece of wood, talking to Link. I
Chew
worry.
it on a leaf.
This right here makes me worry, though, because they're talking about how, like, you can't get into the Lost Woods to protect him. And he's not strong like his father. Right?
Right.
He's really the most vulnerable one. And I love that little butterball.
Yeah, he's sweet.
Yeah. Like, I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the foreshadowing I feel like I'm supposed to be paying attention to here. You know? I don't like that at all. And then here we are. Here's the man. Here's the Gerudo Valley. Here's the man right here.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah. And they're letting him know right now that they found the stones. And that's it, y'all.
God, excuse me.
You know, I like the fact, I kind of wish that at the end there they had shown like Ganon, like just a profile of like Ganondorf's like lower like jaw so he could like crack a half smile, you know? Like, yeah. But at the same time, I'm glad that they did it.
Yeah, and that mask that he's holding is the Phantom Ganon mask, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Just a little tidbit.
Yeah. So, like, you know it's about to pop off. Like, if you know anything about The Legend of Zelda, which you do, Andrew, you know more than I do for sure. You know that that's, like, a really relevant thing for him to have. Like,
yes, it is.
It means he's about to, like, wreck some things.
It's the implication.
It's the implication. But we're not going to really throw them overboard, though, right? No. But we won't have to because of the implication. So, once again, even though this episode is technically shorter than the first episode, MajorLink does it again. That scene with the memory and seeing Link remember all that and then having, like, his memory with the actual here and now merge and you just see older Zelda run by little Zelda and just into his arms. Man, I just even talking about it gives me goosebumps, yo. I'm not even playing when I say it. And, you know, I haven't played a lot of Legend of Zelda games. I played the first one and the Ocarina of Time and a little bit of Majora's Mask. I don't know more like that.
Yeah, just simply put, I mean, it's just good directing, if that's what you want to call it. You know, it was just a good scene.
Yeah, it's masterful. Like that, the hands and the like shot of Ganon's back with the fire. You know, that's something special. There's something.
Yeah.
There's something to that, and then,
That's also an allusion to the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a scene in the game like that? It feels like there is.
Yeah, when they're first describing Ganon, it's an allusion to the game. Yeah.
Yeah. And then him just standing there with the mask in his hand, you know, like that whole scene, like you can feel the tension building because she's talking about her plans and how she feels really confident in them, you know. But there is that foreshadowing there with the Deku Sprout, and I don't know if it's going to go that direction or not because I haven't watched any of the other episodes, but that that right there makes me like scared for him because I'm like they can't protect him and he's not strong like his father, you know. His father could keep them busy in the forest all day long, but Ganon's more clever than that.
Yeah, he can. Well, yeah. Part of it's that the Great Deku Tree could use it to intentionally keep them away. You know, the Deku Sprout doesn't have control over it, so I mean, it's just kind of sporadic. They may find him, they may not.
Yeah,
If
the
if you
forest.
know the path, you know.
Yeah, the forest is just kind of acting on autopilot right now, and that's what I'm saying. Like it feels like to me, Ganon could figure it out. He could study it. Well,
Yeah.
obviously he's done. It's not just him. Like the Gerudos in and of themselves are pretty clever because, like they said at the end of the episode, we have located all the stones. We know where they all are. It's just a matter of getting to them now. You know, and that puts the Gorons and the Zora, correct?
Yeah, the Gorons, the Zora, and the Deku Sprout.
Mm-hmm. That puts even those folks in danger. So,
Darunia and Rudo,
mm-hmm.
namely.
Mm-hmm.
Darunia the Goron and Rudo the Zora.
Yes. Uh, good episode. Good episode. I'm really enjoying these. I try not to watch them like I haven't watched ahead of this episode. Like I try to save my true reaction for what we're doing here and now. But yeah. Okay, let's do these credits. What do you say, boys?
No.
So
Android over and out.
this 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 episode was directed by MajorLink and Glenn McGarry. Written by Glenn McGarry. Animation by MajorLink. Music by Brock Hewitt. Stories in Sound. You can find that on Spotify, SoundCloud, and whatever that middle symbol is supposed to be.
I believe iTunes.
iTunes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get so much hate in the
For the elitist.
Yeah, like the only one I know is Spotify symbol. The only reason why I knew SoundCloud is because it says it right there.
Written on it.
Yeah. Like, and even Spotify, it's only because I've used Spotify a few times that I know that symbol, you know. I don't really use a lot of like music platforms for whatever reason, but
Because you're a fucking weirdo.
yeah, I mean that's probably part of it. But Brock Hewitt, his stories and sound can be found on these platforms, so check them out because I don't know about y'all, but these are some jams. They are a vibe. Model and texture support, our man Taco at Gooey Minion. Sorry, Taco. I still don't know what that word is. I'm going to put that in like a translator and see what it says and just go with that. SFM and Skylar. Lopey Lou. A metal penguin. I don't recall Lopey Lou, a metal penguin, being in the last credits that we did. And I am beginning to just love the model and texture support for the show. Like, if they keep adding people, like, now we got Lopey Lou and a metal penguin. I mean, golly, their offices must just be crazy.
I mean, possibly.
Unless they're all working from home. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Well, I mean, a metal penguin, right? Like, he's just...
I mean, who realistically has a metal penguin in office?
I mean, the penguin.
Like,
the actual penguin, you know? Like...
I mean, the guy you would have to pay to maintenance and polish the penguin alone.
Yeah,
Up there.
I mean... Okay, fair enough. So, a metal penguin is definitely working from home, wherever that is. I see him, like, chilling next to Danny DeVito.
The Arctic.
Yeah.
This motherfucker.
I see him chilling next to Danny DeVito in his penguin outfit, you know, just before, like, he just got done with, like, the texturing or whatever, you know, on here. And then Michael Keaton's Batman just crashes through the ceiling, and he's like, "Oh, gotta go." You know. Special thanks to Michael Rio and Amanda Kong-Kui. Love it. Kong-Kui. Here's their Patreons. I felt like last episode I didn't do those Patreons justice, and I'm still not going to read out every single one of their names, but for you listeners at home or watchers, if you like what you see here and you think that MajorLink is doing a good job, go look at his Patreon. Go check it out and support him, because if it wasn't for guys like him, I wouldn't have the content, the substance, the goodness, the yummy little bits.
At least you know it.
Yeah, to do what it is I do, and it's a very delicate ecosystem. So, please feed the bear so the vulture can eat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn.
Guess that's one way of keeping it real.
Yeah.
At least he knows.
At least I know, right? Like, I'm gonna keep it real. I may be fat, but I'm a fat vulture.
Fistful.
And thank you to every Patreon who has supported him. Couldn't have done it without you. That's true. Same to me. Couldn't have done this without y'all.
I mean, we could have. It just would have been kind of pointless.
Now, this right here, I wonder who that is. And I know you know, Android, but like, I'm curious as to, like, I've been racking my brain on who could be like there wanting, like, I'm like, who is it? Malin? But then I'm like, well, it can't be Malin, right? Because why would she say that in the chamber? As far as I can remember, in the Ocarina of Time, she never actually goes there, right?
Not Malin.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of who it could be that was there, and I've been trying to remember the game, and I don't want you to tell me, and I'm just going to tell you who I hope it is. I hope it's just Ganondorf. I hope next episode he's just done with the BS, and he's just like, I'm going to meet him at the chamber. And just be like, I was here the last time you were here, right? But you never used the analog stick to look behind you, so you didn't know.
When you were a little boy, then I could have crushed you before you even went in there, but I made a miscalculation and you whooped my ass.
Yeah, I should have just yeah.
I mean, that's low key how that happened to him.
Like,
he fucked around and he found out. He's like, oh, well, that wasn't the best idea I've had all week.
Like, you know that if he did know that he was about to lose, he would have just been like, well, you're just a boy. He
made the wrong decision when he said, hold on, let him cook.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was that evil
In this
villain
case-
moment.
Yeah, in this case, it blew up.
Yeah. Bad thinking on his part. Well, I mean, to be fair, how many of us talking about this right now, or listening at home, or watching at home, how many of us wouldn't have done the same thing as Ganon?
Well, I mean, on paper, it was a great idea.
Yeah, your only opposition is an 8-year-old, like...
Yeah, and it did work in a sense, just not for this one.
Yeah, like...
Question mark?
Yeah.
Hashtag question mark?
It's like that TikTok of that little kid who's trying to show you self-defense techniques, and that guy does the splice, the stitching with it, where they're like, well, now you grab the wrist, and then it splices over to the guy just throwing the doll behind his head. It's like,
yeah, just slinging it.
Yeah, like your only opposition is an 8-year-old. Like, how scared are you really gonna be?
Yeah.
And I may be fat, but I'm not like some like swole guy. I if I gotta throw an 8-year-old over my head, that's gonna take a little bit of effort on my part. Ganondorf is not. He's a big old guy. Like, he could throw like 5 8-year-olds at once. I'm almost positive of it.
I'm not that in shape or badass, but I can heave an 8-year-old pretty efficiently.
Maybe we shouldn't be talking about throwing
I'm
8-year-olds.
just throwing this out there, man.
I'm
I'm
just
just throwing
saying.
this out there.
The day we got flagged.
How many fifth graders do you think you could take on at once? Because I
More,
think I could take wave after wave.
more than I should be willing to admit. I'll tell you that right now.
It's like the waves on Gears of War. It's just they're
Yeah,
they're never ending,
exactly.
but you're just like you're
But,
just
but so am I. But so am I.
yeah. Like, it's only 8-year-olds. It's only fifth graders. I mean, I got this. I mean,
The motherfuckers ain't gonna know what hit them.
there's an episode of Seinfeld like that where Kramer's taking karate, but he's taking it with a bunch of children.
Dude. And at first they're like, because he's talking to them about it, and he's like, I'm getting really good at karate. And they're like, that's great, Kramer. And then I think it's like Elaine goes and watches him, and she sees him just slinging a bunch of fifth graders. And she goes back and she's like, yeah, he's good at karate because he's fighting children.
Yeah, yeah. And then those same kids like jump him in an alley and actually beat him down.
Yeah, all of them just together.
Yeah, just team up on him. He's like, ah! Yeah, it's because Jerry knows that's why Kramer's so good. But Elaine doesn't. And Kramer gives her that, like, go get him speech, you know? He's like, I do karate, you know? And she's like, well, if Kramer can do it, I can run the magazine, whatever that magazine.
Oh, yeah,
And
right.
so she's thinking she does a good job or whatever, and then she finds out that Kramer's just full of crap. And it turns out she, like, for the catalog,
So is she.
yeah, the clothing catalog, what is it, the winter sombrero or the spring?
Oh, yeah, the sombrero. Yeah, you're right.
It's so bad. That's a that's a funny episode.
It's like made of felt. It's a felt sombrero and shit. It's so dumb.
She's like got the cigar in her mouth. She's like, it's a peach. It's a peach.
Yeah,
So dumb. So dumb. That show is funny.
it is pretty funny.
Yeah. You viewers at home can find that on Netflix, I think, if you're so inclined to watch some incredible 90s humor.
That's a better descriptor than I would have used.
What? Incredible?
Well,
Or
no.
90s? Oh.
90s comedy, or yeah. I'd still call it incredible. I still like it.
Yeah. Well, you don't get that
Just
kind
what I would call it would probably get you flagged.
Well, okay.
Guaranteed.
Let me put it
Well,
like
the
this.
show itself would get you flagged because half of
Thanks,
that shit
Kanye
you can't
West.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't let me put it to you like this. You can't find comedy like that now. You just can't. Like
Yeah, because you'll strike out there, Chief.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you really look at it, it doesn't age well, as they say, air quotes, in places, but to me that's just a dumb thing to say. Doesn't age well. It's like, well, I mean, you mean people, what you're really saying is people didn't get as offended back then as they do now. But that's not what this channel is about. We're not going to even delve into all that because this channel is dedicated to escapism, but it's something to keep in mind that, you know, Seinfeld offers comedy that you just can't find nowadays because it's not overly self-aware. It just lets itself roll.
It's the implication.
It's the implication. The implication. Well, I really enjoyed this episode. It is shorter, not as much content to go over, so I felt like this episode is probably going to be a lot shorter. But yeah, it's still a really good episode. I feel like it actually lays down more groundwork for what's to come than episode 1 does. Episode 1's just kind of like a glorified prologue, in my opinion. And that's not to say it's bad. I'm just saying it feels more like a prologue than than actually, I don't know, getting to the meat of things, you know? Like this episode does. This episode definitely lets you know kind of what's coming. And like I said, I haven't watched all the episodes, so I don't even know what's coming, really. With that said, though, I guess we'll cut it here, boys.
Hell yeah.
Anything y'all want to plug before we go? Dragons?
I got nothing, Basil.
All right.
All my shit's on hiatus at the moment. We're gonna try to get some of the shit going, but just a lot of shit going on. You know, RL shit getting in the way. So we'll get there. We'll start doing some probably more recordings. I'm getting harassed heavily by people to start streaming again, so we may look into that soon.
Okay. Well, hit me up if you want to do some kind of collab on your channel, and yeah, I'll talk about anything, even if I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll talk about it, like I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I do know.
Yeah, talking out your ass is definitely one of your strong points.
I mean, dude, they used to call me Ace Ventura back in high school.
Something like that, yeah.
Is that what they called you?
Yeah, that's a dated joke. I don't even know if that one's gonna actually land, but if you know, you know. Android, anything you want to plug?
No.
No. Just an abrupt, no. All right, well, and I'm just gonna plug this channel. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. I have to apologize. Last episode, I noticed that I just kept saying thank you for watching, and not everybody just watches. Some people listen, and I don't want to discriminate. So, thank you for listening, for watching. Thank you for stopping by. Whether you like, share, and subscribe, or even if you don't, I am blessed by all my views. I'm blessed by all my subscribers and everyone who likes the video. I'm just completely blessed. And I'm just happy to be doing this. So thank you all for hanging out with me and my two buddies here. And I know that's terrible grammar, but
Bruh.
yeah, it's me. If you don't know me by now, then you. So,
And if you don't know, now you know.
No.
Oh, thank God. All right. Well, thank you all for stopping by, and y'all come back now.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Yeah.
So I had to go super